Hi, welcome to the lesson. We're reviewing grade 4 writing home activity packet, pages 35 and 36. We're looking at precise words for actions and feelings. And in the introduction, it reminds us that when we're writing, we want to try to paint a picture in the reader's mind and give them a clear picture of what the writer is describing. And so we want to make sure that we use precise words when we do that. Now, there was a previous lesson that talked about precise words, and in that case, it talked about the difference between vague words and precise words. I think a good example is the sentences they gave: many fruits grow in Hawaii. So many fruits isn't really, it gives the reader no idea of what kinds of fruits grow in Hawaii. Many fruits grow all over the world. Whereas in the more precise example, tropical pineapples, mangoes, and bananas grow in Hawaii. That gives the reader a much better understanding of what fruits do grow in Hawaii and distinguishes fruits that grow in, say, Indiana or any other state. So many parts of those types of things are vague kind of descriptions, and we want to avoid those. When we're talking about actions and feelings, it's more a matter of finding the word that closely fits what we're trying to convey in in whatever it is that we're writing. So, for example, they give an example of ask as being a vague word, and inquire, question, or quiz being more precise. But it really kind of depends on the circumstances. You can't simply plug in one of these words in place of ask and necessarily have it make sense. For example, if a student has a question in class, they'll raise their hand and ask the question. In that situation, ask is a precise description. You wouldn't say that that the student inquired of their question, or questioned the teacher, or quizzed the teacher. In most cases, and sometimes students might do those things, but question, for example, that kind of has kind of gives a feeling of it being somewhat confrontational, like a police detective questions a suspect. And quiz, similarly, or on the opposite end, it kind of is it's a friendlier way of drawing out information, finding out what somebody knows. So, like, a teacher will quiz students on their understanding of a reading, for example. So if we look at the examples down below, female sea turtles go ashore at night to lay eggs on sandy beaches. So go ashore is a phrase that kind of, at least in my mind, gives a feeling of people on a cruise, say, that are in port, and they go ashore to sightsee or to go shopping. So move, walk, move, or crawl would all be synonyms that could fit in that case. Crawl really describes how I picture sea turtles moving. Sea turtles are meant to be in the ocean. They have flippers. They spend most of the time swimming in the ocean, but when they go up on land, which they're able to do, they crawl along on their flippers. So that's a good description of how sea turtles move on land. Confused sea turtles will not lay eggs on brightly lit beaches. They give the example of shy, bewildered, and mysterious. Now, shy and mysterious really aren't synonyms of confused, at least not in that situation. But bewildered really gives an indication of how strongly confused the sea turtles are. It's a synonym of confused, and it really implies um, something more than just ordinary confusion, that they're bewildered, that they really don't know at all what's going on because the beach is so brightly lit, and so they won't go. Kind people turn off their outdoor lights. Gentle, good, caring, those are all examples of being kind. Caring is the one that that best fits that sentence, because um, it's not them acting gently towards the sea turtles. It's not them necessarily being good, but it shows that they care about the sea turtles. They don't want them to be bewildered by the light on the beach. After laying eggs, the sea turtles go away from her nest of eggs and returns to the sea. So rejects, quits on, deserts. Again, those are all synonyms of the phrase goes away from in this case. Desserts, I think, is probably the one that best fits, that they just leave it behind. And then finally, volunteers have to put up fences to protect nest sites. Prepare, construct, form. So this is something that the fence is something that they're building. So construct is probably the best fit there. It's a little bit put up kind of implies that the fence is lying there on the ground. All they have to do is pick it up and prop it up. But they'll actually have to construct the fence and build it in order to protect the sea turtle area. So that paints a little bit more of a picture of the volunteers working on that project. So take a look at those, see if maybe you have a different take on some of those, and maybe you do. And if so, certainly think about your own reasoning why you would use a different word. Take a look then at page 36. Go through each question and try to answer those on your own. There are 5 of them, so I think you should be able to do that. So try that, do that to the best of your ability. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or your homeroom teacher, and I appreciate you coming to the lesson.